video, as with basically all Nintendo products, there is absolutely no denying that there is some fun to be had with Pictonico. There is a novelty, you know, the recipe is fine. This is essentially WarioWare microgames, except it uses photos that you feed it. It takes faces and cuts them out and warps them and bends them and makes them pull funny faces and stuff. It can apply filters, it can chop them up, do whatever it wants, and put them in these silly games. And it really is like WarioWare. It's the same format where the games are all just like a few seconds long. You got a little timer on the bottom. You work through a bunch at a time. You've even got like the little like thing in between them that pops up. The energy is identical. The entire vibe is identical. I mean, it was made by the exact same team. And yeah, you know, it works on some level. I've never really been a very big fan of WarioWare. I think it's kind of fun. It just doesn't really hold my attention for super long. And yeah, this is the same, but you know, I do want to give it credit where credit's due. Yeah, like it does work. Okay, well, I say it works, though apparently it does not exactly work for monster faces. Yeah, little peeved there. In GL, it seems if you are blue and covered with fur, then you are just not allowed to enjoy this game to its fullest. Okay, whatever, I'm not gonna make a big stink out of it. But like, of course, there is a novelty to feeding the game a whole bunch of pictures of like you and your friends, and you can just like download any picture you want of anybody and put it in there. I mean, it's Tomodachi life. It's that thing where you've got like your friends and celebrities or whoever all like kind of getting into these wacky hijinks together. And this game will put them in these situations and give them these silly costumes that are not always fitting. Picture of old man, but now he is dressed like little girl, haha, you know, it's like, it's funny. The games are fun for the most part. I think some are like a lot more clever than others, you know, some are a little more engaged, others are just kind of like, you just kind of just tap the thing and I don't know, you're just kind of done. There's an okay number of games, it's like 80 games, and you've got, you know, different modes. They did like try to do the idea justice, like, you know, this whole micro game format. Yeah, they probably did as much as they possibly could in terms of yeah, just like modes, things to do with these games. Each game has multiple difficulty levels, and then even as you move up through the levels, like the visual themes will like kind of change, which is fun. So there's like kind of a surprise element there as you play, and these games are all randomized. You'll see new stuff here and there, especially as it mixes in, you know, different photos that you've given it. You can play one game a number of times, and depending on whose photo comes up, you know, it can be kind of funny or entertaining in its own way each time. So again, like, yeah, it's fun. It's fine. It does what it says on the tin. It does everything that you would expect. And here in the US, if you want all of the games, it's like $14 to unlock the whole thing. Is that worth it? Yeah, I don't know. If you really like WarioWare and you're usually okay spending that kind of money on WarioWare, then here, yeah, especially because of that like novelty and variability that you get in feeding it like a whole bunch of different pictures. You can create an album just for the game. That's what I did. But if you're feeling like really adventurous, it can just access like all of the thousands of photos you probably have on your device. Oh yeah, it is worth noting, it is a little annoying how like the game, I guess some faces are just better for certain games. So sometimes you will get kind of like annoying repeats, or the game will just ignore certain pictures and never bring them up. Like, I could just never, ever get the game to use a picture of Hidetaka Miyazaki. I don't know why. Something about his face, I guess, is a lot like my face. Apparently, the game just doesn't like it. So if you're the kind of person who just constantly takes pictures of yourself and all of your friends, and you love WarioWare, then yeah, you know what, sure. Like, I could see that exact person getting a whole lot of mileage out of a game like this. So is the game fun? Sure. Is it worth the price? I don't know. Maybe, sure. My problem with it is that it is just so unabashedly old-fashioned. And see, that's not always a bad thing. Nintendo is old-fashioned in many ways. They put out many products that you may consider a little bit old-fashioned, and that's actually a really great strength. It can be very charming. It can be very, just kind of relieving as a consumer in this crazy old messed up gaming universe of ours, where everything is like live service, subscription service, loot box, AI, and all that stuff. Like, sure, like, yeah, I mean, that really is a great thing about Nintendo. Often they're okay just doing it the sustainable, good old-fashioned way. But in this case, in Pictonico. I can't even remember the name. It's too old-fashioned. It's like this game came 10 years too late. Like it is a decade too late to hit the scene. Let's start with that name, Pictonico. I know it sounds like I'm nitpicking, but I've got an overall point. Pictonico, it's got like kind of an element of a real word in it, but it's kind of a silly made-up word. It's amiibo, it's labo, it's Pictonico. And even like in the commercial, like all the crowd of people going, Pictonico! It's just, I don't know, man. It's just very old hat. And you could probably argue that, look, it's Nintendo. It's a stylistic thing. It's their kind of signature thing. But I don't know, I just don't see it. Like these products don't like fit together super well. They're not necessarily part of like a product ecosystem. It's just kind of like you can just expect Nintendo to come up with a beep beep do kind of name and have all the people go blah blah blah. But that's the least of it though. The overall concept here, again, it is good, but just like wow. We have been here and we have done this. The world of smartphone photo filters is one that has been thoroughly explored. It has already been charted, taking our photos and making them look silly. It's something that's been done so much before. That novelty, like this is something that has already been played with. And in fact, like of course, the technology has gotten so good. Now you've got video filters that are infinitely better. And you know, okay, yeah, old-fashioned charm. And you're taking the photos and making little games out of them. That's not necessarily something that's been done a whole ton, but it's close enough to that idea that it just feels like this is so late. And it's so late, especially for Nintendo. I had a Game Boy camera and I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. I could take pictures of myself and put it into all these little, I mean like this is basically Game Boy Camera 2.0. And then like every Nintendo generation after that, I was just like waiting for the next one. I was waiting for them to do it again. And okay, maybe they don't want to sell another camera accessory, fine. Oh, but then we started getting systems with cameras built in. We had the Wii U, we had the 3DS, and the 3DS had like face raiders. Okay, yeah, you can take a picture and like turn it into like a little shooting game, but like where was the Game Boy camera kind of thing with all the little mini, like just this, where was Pictopia? Where was Pocopia on the 3DS and the Wii U? I don't understand it. It would have been perfect. Again, the idea is just like 10 years too late. Or, okay, if they didn't want to do that, if they wanted to make it a smartphone game, oh man, that's a really great idea. But where was this 10 years ago when I think it probably would have made a pretty big splash? At least a bigger splash than now, you know, like the technology was there. They could have absolutely done this 10 years ago, approximately. It would have been way more fresh. The whole entire app store was way less crowded. It's the kind of smartphone game that Nintendo should have been making since they started making smartphone games. So like, 2026? Like when did this get greenlit? I don't understand it. How long have they been working on this? Just why now? Maybe if this was an even more fleshed out experience, more of a full game. Maybe if it took these faces and did a lot more with them. In the same way that Tomodachi Life will take your Miis and I mean it's a full game. This right here is a very shallow kind of product. There's a novelty, but there's really not that much novelty. They probably could have done a lot more if they really wanted to get eyes on this thing. Even just the fact that it's a WarioWare style game. Again, when they started making smartphone games, everybody, not just me, I'm not a super smart guy with a bunch of smart ideas. This is an idea that occurred to everybody. They're like, okay, what Nintendo series would be good for phones? WarioWare. Where is the WarioWare for phones? Okay, you don't want to just do WarioWare? You want to incorporate this photo thing? Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, that is the way to take the format and make it more appealing, more broadly appealing to the masses. In 2015, you know what I'm saying? And then like, even the way it's priced. Nintendo, bless them, they can't get off this idea of providing a game that's like free to start, where you get like a teensy little bite-sized bit and then you have to buy the rest. This is different from a free-to-play game where a person not paying can actually play quite a lot. You know, they can really engage with this thing without paying any money. They can become really invested in the game before they are tempted to spend money to get more content. But here, you get 3 games. 3 micro games that are a couple seconds long. You're talking moments of content. Sure, you could play the games a couple times and get the different difficulty levels, but for the most part, this demo is basically 1.5 moments long. It really is, and you got to pay for the rest. And again, it's so old-fashioned. I get why Nintendo can't let go of this idea to a degree. Like, I do get that this should work. Just logically, it should work. This should be enough of a demo, providing a little taste and then charging for the full product. That should be how it works. And I can understand the frustration. I can understand why they keep trying, but it does not work. I'm not saying it's never worked. I'm not saying it can't possibly work, but just look at the world of mobile games. It's just not how things are done. It's just not usually how it works. And yet here we are. Here we are again. How long ago was Super Mario Run? And it used this pricing scheme, and it really didn't work. And now here we are again, all these years later. Again, last time, 2026. They're doing it again. Everything about this game, everything, makes it feel like they made it 10 years ago and like accidentally left it in a drawer, or they like lost the hard drive that it was on or something, and they finally found it and they were like, all right, might as well upload the thing. But putting this thing out there in earnest right now, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of embarrassing. That's not a word that I throw around lightly, but like, it is. It's just a little bit embarrassing. I don't know, maybe I'm being too hard on the game. Maybe I'm nitpicking. Again, it is. It's fun. It's fine. You may have a bunch of fun with it. I just think from like a business standpoint, just looking at the industry, I struggle to see this game accomplishing anything. Like, I really struggle to see the broad appeal here. The whole point of a mobile game versus a platform game is a mobile game can get into billions of hands, potentially, versus just millions or tens of millions of hands. Everyone in the world has a smartphone. Any one of them could be a customer. That's the entire point. And I could be wrong, but I just like, I don't see anyone even finding this game. If they find this game, I don't see them clicking on this game. I don't really see anyone beyond the Nintendo sphere ever even knowing about its existence or caring at all. I don't know. I'm open to being wrong. This is probably the kind of product that, like, if you showed it to your grandma or something, she'd probably die laughing. Like, I mean, like, really, when I really think about it, sure. Maybe we're not really the target audience. Maybe I'm completely underestimating the appeal that it may have, especially for certain ages and demographics. But I guess we'll see. At the very least, they should have included more games in the free version. They should have made the free version something that you can play for more than a moment and a half before you have to spend $8 or $6 to buy other packs of content. Well, if you've been playing Picto, Umptico, Calico, Tailipo, let me know what you think down in the comments. I am gonna go and try to get these darn phone screen recordings onto my computer. I don't get it. I plug it in, I click the notification, and then it freezes, or it just like doesn't work. I don't understand why this is always so hard. Like, I'm supposed to just be able to like plug it in and move the files. There's always something wrong.